Welcome back to Red and Blue. I'm Ed O'Keefe, and with just 1 week left until Election Day, it's important to remember our CBS News Battleground Tracker shows control of the House of Representatives tilting in the direction of Republicans. Among the places where the GOP is feeling optimistic are a handful of competitive House districts in New England and New York. Right now, Maine Senator Susan Collins is the only Republican who represents a part of New England, but this year Republicans think they can pick up a House seat in her state and one or two next door in New Hampshire, plus one in Rhode Island. And yes, I said Rhode Island, a state that hasn't elected a Republican to Congress since 2000. I went there last week to meet with Allan Fung, former mayor of Cranston, Rhode Island, who's facing Democrat Seth Magaziner in the race to succeed retiring Democratic Congressman James Langevin. He asked GOP consultants out of the state about candidates they're excited about or who could help shape the future of the GOP, and they cite Allan Fung, a moderate Republican who hasn't been endorsed by former President Donald Trump. We met up with him at the English Muffin in Johnston, Rhode Island. Here's part of our conversation. You win and House Republicans take control. What are Republicans going to do to fight inflation?
We've got to make sure that we spend wisely, targeted strategic spending, no more of this blank checks that are going out under the failed policies of Speaker Pelosi. Next, we also have to make sure that, we're bringing back some of the jobs to our country, fixing up the infrastructure. All of that will help our economy here. And lastly, the biggest issue is this energy independence. While we're transitioning to a renewable energy economy, we have to stay focused on making sure that a lot of our oil and the gas are still coming out of our even drilled but uncompleted wells.
When you talk about bringing manufacturing jobs back, or like your website says, and fixing up the ports here in Rhode Island, it sounds like you would have been a yes vote for the big infrastructure bill.
Yes, I would have. And, and I get it that, a lot of Republicans might not have been in favor of it, but it's important, critically important to, many, not just Rhode Islanders, people in the New England area where we've got older bones. Not only just talking about roads and bridges, we're talking about sewer lines, water lines that really need rehabbing.
I've been covering campaigns and elections for a little while. I cannot recall ever having to come to Rhode Island to cover a competitive race.
Yes.
What's going on in Rhode Island that is making it possible that you, a Republican, might win?
The small state in the union is going to have a loud voice. We have an opportunity to bring back a voice, a Republican voice, not just for Rhode Island, but all of New England, which has been missing for a few years now. And it's important that we have that balance. Someone that's willing to go down there, roll up the sleeves, be that hard work in a bipartisan manner.
There's only one Republican in Congress from New England right now.
Yes.
Susan Collins.
Yes.
The Republican brand doesn't do as well in these parts. A big part of the reason is because of the guy who's seen as the leader of the party, former President Donald Trump. He hasn't endorsed you, right?
No, he hasn't.
Would you like his endorsement? Would it help?
The endorsement that's important for me are the people in this second district, the people of Rhode Island. I like Susan Collins a lot. She's, contributed to my campaign. I model myself after Charlie Baker, the governor of Massachusetts, Chris Sununu, the governor of New Hampshire. That's how I've governed 12 years as mayor, working across the aisle, solving solutions.
Did I read correctly that part of the reason you became a Republican is because you wanted to run for city council? The Democrats told you go run for school council instead, and you said, screw it, I'm going to go.
What actually happened is they actually told me that they didn't have a spot for me, and the Republican Party was welcoming to me. We aligned, especially on the fiscal issues, fiscal policies, pro-business. A party that supposedly has been welcoming to minorities wasn't back because they didn't have a spot for me. Well, the Republicans are welcoming, and I'm proud to be part of a group of fresh faces that's with our name on the ballot that hopefully is going to do some great things for our neighborhoods, our states, and our country.
So if the Democrats had said yes to you years ago, you might be running for Congress this year as a Democrat in another world.
I'm sitting here as a Republican, proud to be, a Republican that is fiscally responsible, doing the right things for us, and, it's something that I'm honored to, be on the ballot this year.